Hello and welcome to the latest edition of Business Spotlight podcast. I'm joined today by James and Sara of Stockely Outdoor and Equestrian. So welcome to the call, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, so let's start by finding out a little bit about what you do. So James, tell us a little bit about Stockely, what it is that you do and how long you've been doing it for.
Stockely's been trading for about 35 years, since 1989, out of a warehouse in Littlehampton. It was set up originally as a shop that sold wax jackets and trainers, and then equestrian started. I bought the business in 2000, and we have it has evolved over those years. We've had a certain amount of online work, but then we opened up a new store in Midhurst, and that went extremely well. So essentially, it's a mixture of equestrian goods and outdoor clothing.
Okay, wow, thanks very much. So Sara, tell us a little bit about the Midhurst store and what that sets it apart from the Littlehampton store.
So the two stores are very different. Midhurst is obviously on a high street, of a lovely, lovely town, nestled in the South Downs. So it's a beautiful little spot, and it's straight off the high street with everything that we have in Littlehampton, but it's in a street, vision. So yeah, it's good.
Okay. And I presume you get kind of regular people calling in at the store, people that are visiting, and they're coming in to buy all kinds of things related to equestrian and walking and outdoor living, etc., etc. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. The equestrian part of the business is really our bread and butter. So we get regular people coming in, picking up feed, picking up their equestrian supplies.
Mm-hmm.
The outdoor clothing side is that is either people coming in, opportunist. Midhurst, of course, is very much a great location for holidays, and so there's quite a lot of traffic on the high street, and outdoor clothing works really well for them. And of course, we're close to the South Downs.
Okay. So you're kind of describing customers who they're into horses, they're into equine, they're into walking, they like the outdoors. No doubt you're connected to quite a few people in the localities of the two stores. So this sounds to me very much like you're part of a community. Would you say that's a kind of a fair description of the business? And if so, how does that affect what you do and how you do it?
It affects us a lot. I mean, we have a community base with our own loyal customers,
right?
But we also reach out to local groups. So that could be riding schools, it could be walking groups, it could be forest schools with children. We have a number of groups that use us on a regular basis, but also we reach out to those when we have special offers. And with our own loyalty scheme that we have a horseshoes loyalty, and with that it gains you points, which then repeat business for us, but also they gain points which then they can spend in the future. So right. Yeah.
Okay, so you've kind of got a formal engagement with your community through your loyalty scheme, encouraging people to come back to you, but you're also talking to yards, you're talking to horse riding schools and various other things. How important is that for the growth of the business, and also the support, I guess, of other businesses in the locality that are kind of associated with what you do?
There are a lot of challenges for retail businesses at the moment with online selling.
Yeah.
And it's very easy for our customers to sit at home and just a couple of clicks and Amazon will bring it the following day.
Right.
So what we've got to do is to try and create something more of benefit to them. And in order for them to be aware of that, that's why we reach out to the communities.
And I presume they reach to you too. So you've got yards and riding schools that are saying, you've got to go and talk to these guys, to, maybe children that are learning to ride for the first time, or adults for that matter. Would that be fair?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We work closely with all the riding schools, and they send everyone to us for the expertise and the knowledge that we have to make sure that they have all the kit they need and they're as safe as possible in their pursuit. But it works both ways. You know, we also guide those riding schools, and we guide those on livery yards and those with groups of youngsters. We actually help those as well. We work with quite a few schools to assist them, because that's not their expertise. So we step in when they need that specialist help.
Yes, fitting of safety wear is hugely important to these riding schools.
Yep.
And so we have set ourselves a target and have achieved that of being offering a real gold star fitting service for both body protectors and riding hats. And we have that is now so well respected. I think we get people from drive a long way to come and get their hats fitted by us.
See, what sounds interesting to me about all of that is you're obviously in a traditional, some might even use the word old-fashioned kind of sector and market, but the way that you're building your business is entirely modern, because, you know, for you and for the yards, for the stables and everybody that's involved, what you're doing is providing a service, and the money follows the service. It's not the main reason, you know, you're helping the yards, they're helping you. So that sounds like a really interesting way of doing business. And
well, we've had to set it up like that because of the challenges.
Yeah.
And so it is something that we recognized and have been developing for the last 5 years, really.
Because it builds trust in you, doesn't it? People get to know who you are, and by recommendation, they trust what you do. And likewise, if you're recommending riding schools or organizations for outdoor pursuits or whatever, then because you all know each other and trust each other as part of this community, everyone benefits, I guess, at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And it works both ways. You know, we work with so many people, but we also work with all of our manufacturers. You know, we work very closely with them to make sure that we have the right products for our customers. And
do your team, do the people that work for you, do they see themselves as part of this community as well? And if so,
absolutely. Absolutely. They are, they're our shop front. They are with our communities. They are talking to them, expressing their knowledge. And then if they don't have that expertise, then we assist them, you know, so they are looking to give them the 100% when they come in. The
staff are really the backbone of the business. Absolutely. Without them, they're the ones who face the customers, and they're the ones who they are the face of the business, and we rely on them hugely to deliver that service.
Which is why our training is so high, you know, and constant training. It's not once they're, you know, trained, that's it. It's reviewed, it's, you know, repeated, because every time you train, you learn something different. So it's always evolving, and you never stop learning. We don't.
No, that's a really good point. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. When the last few years, when the pandemic really struck, how did the community, and I mean your immediate community, you and your team and your regular customers or whatever, but also the wider community, how did they come together to support each other through those challenging business times as well as personal times, would you say?
It was very difficult. I mean, again, the pandemic was an incredibly difficult time for everyone. We actually stayed open all the way through. We were deemed to be an essential store, providing horse feed and first aid and everything like that. So we stayed open. We kept, and we had to change our model slightly. Obviously, we could sort of, you know, there was more of a sort of a click and collect type thing, or phone and collect with us. But the community has been incredibly supportive to us, recognizing the service that we give them, and you know, we were able to survive because people would come out to see us. In the same way, we had a terrible time last year when there was a fire in the middle of Midhurst, and that closed the the main artery routes through West Sussex for 3 months. Yet our customers still fought through all the roadblocks and everything to come to us and keep us going. Without them, we probably wouldn't be here.
And I think we were also there for them, because particularly in the pandemic, everybody struggled because we were all so isolated. So we were still on the end of a phone. We were, you know, people weren't able to socialize on their own yards. They weren't able to see anybody. So we kind of became that voice, you know, for everybody. So we use social media. We were there for everybody. You've got a question, you've got, you know, you're struggling at home. And we found people were doing that. They were connecting with us in that way.
Reaching out.
So, yeah.
And again, that comes back to community being there for everybody and for each other.
Absolutely.
James and Sara, it's been fascinating to hear how your business is so ingrained in this concept, and I'm sure that people will take an awful lot of learnings from that and be thinking about their own businesses and building their own communities. Thank you very much for your time today on this call.
Thank you very much, Gavin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great.